The Fujicast is an independent Loading Zone production.
Kev, do you fancy coming to India with me? It's like a movie, Kev. Coming to India. Neale and Kev.
I'm not sure my tummy can put up with it. Didn't you get a bit of a dodgy tummy when you went?
No, when I came back. But that was me. I think that was because I was bitten by something.
It's because you had a KFC at the airport.
Well, they do have them at Delhi Airport, actually. When you arrive back at Delhi Airport, suddenly one of the first things you see is KFC, which is a bit disappointing. However, I am informed that the KFCs in India taste nothing like the KFCs in Malmesbury. That's for sure. But I just thought I'd mention it because I'm going to Kolkata and Varanasi, so one very, very ancient city that goes back further than any of your predecessors, actually. Just launched the dates. I'm looking forward to going, and I just thought, I know who'd like to go. That reprobate mate Kev would like to go. But
you know me, I would love to go and take the pictures, although I do find it quite difficult to kind of move outside of the walls of Malmesbury these days. I get nervous. I went to Blackpool last weekend, and as soon as I got on the motor, I was like shivering and shaking.
Oh, Kev, you weren't, were you?
Yeah, because I was going to Blackpool.
Well, that could well be the case then.
The Fujicast.
This is nothing like Blackpool, I can promise you that. Not that I want to cast any aspersions on Blackpool. It's not my favourite place, Kev. but
it's certainly an interesting place.
You like it, though. How did your course go there?
Yeah, it was good, actually. We had, oddly, it was really weird. We had 6 people booked, and then the day before, 4 people pulled out. So,
what?
for various reasons. So we only had 2, but then a third person turned up who hadn't actually confirmed the date with me, which was absolutely fine. Although, it was a miscommunication. He had confirmed the date. I just hadn't kind of confirmed it back. And so, luckily, we kind of bumped into each other rather than anything else. So, yeah, it was good. It was a really nice, sunny, windy day. I got very sunburnt. Weird place, Blackpool.
Well, it's of its own. If you fancy a tour where you kind of know who's going to be at the airport, then my tour is on photowalk.show. I'm just going to say that, Kev, and you go to the tab that says India 26, and you're away, Kev. You're away.
Indeed.
You'd love it, Kev. Street photography. Oh, Kev, I know you'd love it. And I know people say food. It's a bit of a cliche now because you don't just go to India and get Delhi belly. It's I think people do get food poisoning from things, yes, but it's not the number one thing that you need to be concerned about. You probably need to be more concerned about being hit by one of the electric, because they're electric now, tuk-tuks. You get the ones that make lots of noise, then you get the electric one, and you don't hear those coming, Kev. So you have to be very careful that you don't get struck with I got 3 little bruises from a mirror when I was a little bit too close to the street and not looking. I then learned that tuk-tuks don't necessarily go brum, 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 brum. Most of them do. Right. So, you and your emails, and we've got a few actually, Kev. I was a bit concerned last time that we might end up with no emails, but then a few came flooding in.
We've got some posts on the website as well, which is good.
Excellent. So that means there can be a show. Before we start, though, we should say, and this is a bit different today, our friends at PickTime, pick-time.com, have got something a bit special. I'm just going to call it 72, and you have all the details.
Yeah, so PickTime are going to do a flash super sale for us, just for us on Fujicast, and it is going to include, you can still use the code Fujicast, of course, with PickTime, and you will get 3, not 1, but 3 months free.
What?
They will also do 200 gallery moves for free with the code Fujicast. Right. So if you've got a gallery in another provider, which is what I did, I paid mine. I was like $1 a gallery or whatever.
Yeah.
I had all my galleries moved over, and so they will do it for 200 galleries for free with the code Fujicast. They will also, on Wednesday, this Wednesday, 14th of May at 6 p.m. UK time, The lovely Arga from Pick Time is going to join us on a live Zoom session. So any of you can join. You don't have to have signed up for Pick Time, but if you're thinking about it, maybe you can come along to that, and she's going to answer any of your questions, show you how to do setups, all of that kind of stuff. And the catch, however, is because this is a very, very impressive offer. I wish I'd taken it up myself, got to say. It is going to last for 72 hours only from today. So today is May the 12th, Monday, May the 12th, 2025. Now, I reckon if you're listening to this on Thursday the 15th, for example, maybe even Friday the 16th, you might still get away with putting FujiCast code in and getting your 3 months rather than just the old-fashioned 1 month.
Do you know why that should work that way? Because some people are 12 hours ahead.
So yeah, you just try it. Is my advice. You just try popping in FujiCast. You will either get 3 months free and 2 galleries move in, or you will get the 1 month free as standard. However, come and join us on the 14th of May, 6 p.m. UK time, for a live Zoom session with Arga from Pick Time, where she will answer all of your questions. Now, we don't have the Zoom URL just yet, so I've made it very, very easy. And all you have to do is go to fujicast.co.uk/pick time, no hyphen or anything like that, just PICTIME. We'll obviously put this in the show notes, and that will take you to the Zoom link, and it will be all there waiting for you.
Good.
And yeah, so there you go. 3 months free with FujiCast, up to 200 galleries, and the live session with, I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there on that live session,
I'll
Neale?
I'll be there.
Yep. So Neale and myself will be there, and Arga. And 14th of May, 6 p.m. UK time, fujicast.co.uk/pick time. And the code is FujiCast as usual. And if you're quick enough, you will get all those extra freebies and goodies from them.
Good. Right. We'll remind you that at the end of the show as well.
Yeah, we will remind you, of course, but it will all be in the show notes.
What do they call these things? Are you a dingbat, Kev?
Am I a dingbat?
Yeah. Let me just check.
That's like an upside down character icon font, wasn't it? Dingbats
was it? What is a dingbat?
Or wingbats? Was it dingbats and wingbats?
Oh no, I'm getting the wrong thing altogether, Kev. I apologise. Let me withdraw that. No, I thought that was that one where you have the letters. What's it called when you get the letters? Like 7 days in a week will be 7. The number 7 DIAW. Weren't they called dingbats? No, were they called something else?
No, I don't know. I like dingbats and wingbats were fonts where if you press something on your keyboard, it would come up
yes,
graphic.
You're right. Yeah. Well, whatever that thing is where you have to, when you get given letters and you have to guess what the phrase is. What do you think YNWA is? YNWA. And I'll give you a clue.
You'll never walk alone.
You see, straight in there, Kev.
Yeah,
straight in there.
Yes, Liverpool. That's Liverpool's Liverpool fans' favourite saying.
Yeah, and it's probably, I think, even though when we're both Arsenal fans, and I do love the new Arsenal theme that they say, and it is new. It doesn't have the heritage that You'll Never Walk Alone has. There's no, and I always remember watching the video of them singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" to what's his name? He's only been gone a season. I can't think of his name. Not Arnie Slot, the guy before. That Showbiz.
German chap.
Yeah, nice guy. I liked him. See, that Showbiz, as they used to say. I remember them singing that to him. I know everybody's shouting it out now. And looking at him, 50,000, whatever it was, 1,000 people singing that to him. It was quite a moment. It's
a great stadium. I remember standing in the Kop with my mate Fat Phil, who was a big Liverpool fan, and we went up to see. I remember it was a Champions League match, Liverpool I think it might have been Juventus group game years ago. This is it must be 20 years ago at least. Standing in the Kop and I'm singing that before kickoff. Oh my word!
You were singing it. You were singing it. Kev.
Yeah, of course, because I was supporting Liverpool that day. So that puts. I'm not one of those people that I just if I've gone with my friend to watch Liverpool versus Juventus, I'm not going to cheer for Juventus just because I'm an Arsenal fan.
No, of course you're not. No, but you're not.
And if I remember rightly, it was a pretty dull game. But Emil Heskey scored with a massive header just towards the end, and the whole place erupted. Great experience, amazing place.
No doubt at all. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Europe because, and we'll have 2 versions of this, by the way. So here's one version. Can't believe it, Kev. We're going to be in the final, Kev. Can you believe that? I tell you what, Liverpool tears, as they said to us when they won the Football League. They said they were drinking Arsenal tears, weren't they, out of cans or something. Or here's the second version, and you can edit out the one you want. Can't believe it, Kev. We lost, but we did our best. Semi-final. Next year, who knows?
Who knows?
So this is from Eric Jacobi Peterson. Very, very quickly, he said, true, we're not all Arsenal fans. For me, Liverpool finally got to number 20. Well done, you. What a great day. I will still listen to your show, though. Best of luck next
20?
year. Was it 20? Eric, did you do 20?
Oh, 20 league titles,
yes,
is it?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive, isn't it?
It is impressive. Eric, I will give you that. Right, let's get to questions. You're going to go with your Facebook first?
I'm just typing in. Hang on.
Are you fact-checking, Kev? Don't fact-check Eric. He knows.
I am.
Mr. Peterson knows.
Yeah, he's right.
He is right.
There we go. Well, anyway, well done to them, and my mate Fat Phil will be very happy. Also, Postman Matt, he's a huge Liverpool fan.
Good.
Right, what were we here to do, really? What was
questions? You're starting with Facebook.
Oh, questions. Right. Okay. Marco Markovic says, question about settings. I was unable to connect my X100 VI to my phone via the X app, and the only way was doing a reset. Now I lost all my custom settings. Any way to back them up next time and put them back in? Well, first of all, I'm not sure why. Like the X100 VI is probably the most stable of my cameras that works with the X app. So I don't know what went wrong, but obviously something went wrong. And a reset, maybe it was the connection or the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever. But yes, so Fujifilm do have a piece of software called X Acquire, X-AQUIRE. Free piece of software. It's actually used for tethering and various things like that. But one of the things you can do is simply back up all of your camera settings, all of them, including your custom settings, your everything in the menu, basically. You can save it to a little, I think it's a .dat file on your computer, stick it in Dropbox or somewhere like that. And next time everything gets all up, you can go back to X Acquire, plug your camera in via the cable and say, right, send it back, please, and that will do it. So Fujifilm X Acquire is your friend.
Did I dream this? But when we were both Canon users, Kev, were we able to back up settings onto a CF card?
Yes, you could do that. You could do. It didn't do everything.
Right.
It did certain things. I remember once back in the day when I took my camera. I had my Canon 1D. I was like one of the early adopters of the 1D Mark IV, and I took it to photograph Bristol Rugby versus somebody or other.
Right.
In those days, I had pitch side access, and did all my pictures. Went home, stuck them on my website. And I also stuck up the settings that I'd used in my camera, because things like, I can't remember what they call it now, AI servo, various other things like that. And stuck up my website, woke up the next day, and my website had completely and utterly exploded while everybody was downloading this data file so they could stick it in their own Canon files. So yeah, you could always do it in Canon. I presume you can still do it, I'm guessing. But yeah, you can do it with Fujifilm as well. What you can't do easily is, for example, you can't, at least I don't think so, back up like an X1. If you've got an X100 VI and an XT5, for example, you can't back up your settings from an X100 VI and then send them to an XT5.
Right.
Even though the gubbins are the same. So I don't think that works. However, you can, because I've tested this, if you've got two X100 VIs or two XT5s, for example, you can save it from one and then send it to the other. And that does work.
Problem solved. I've just sent you a message, by the way, Kev.
Was that you?
Yeah. Ding, ding. And you'll need that for for perhaps an answer to this next question. Although actually it's not necessarily about the project itself. Good afternoon, Kev and Neale. I'm a long-time listener and admirer of the work you both do. Your conversations have been a real source of inspiration as I've begun to slowly return myself to the world of photography. This is from Lance Carter, by the way. I've recently launched a new person project documenting the beauty of the Latin Mass and sacred architecture. This is right in your ballpark, Kev, this feature. It's meditative, slower-paced body of work, mostly focused on quiet moments of the liturgy, light and reverence. I've started uploading portfolios one at a time to this new site, but after publishing the first, I've run into some frustrations. Display looks fine on a Mac, very inconsistent on the PC and mobile device through Wix. I'm now planning to explore PicTime to see if the layout and presentation can feel more cohesive. There is another question, but it's an entirely other thing. So let's deal with this thing first, Kev. Would this be how Wix is dealing with different browsers? Sounds a bit like that.
I wouldn't have thought it's actually anything to do with Wix themselves. No, because it's the browser is responsible for displaying a JPEG. Doesn't matter what web builder you've used. So I would my first port of call would be looking at your color settings in the camera that you're shooting, whether you're shooting sRGB or ARGB. Now, I'm hazarding a guess that you are shooting ARGB and then editing to ARGB to make it look nice on your computer and then uploading it. And the web browsers of choice do not like ARGB. They have to convert it to sRGB, and most of them make a right pig's ear of it. So always shooting sRGB, unless with the caveat that if you're doing any kind of very professional printing and the printing company might ask for a ARGB file, but they would have to ask for that before you start shooting. So that's my guess that you're shooting in ARGB.
Have you gone to his website?
I have. I'm looking at it right now.
So as you go down on just tab down, or rather just gently let your browser or your scroll bar take you down.
Mm-hmm.
So the pictures change size. They zoom in a bit. There's a bit of is that they're called the old Ken Burns effect or whatever?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that.
Yeah, a little bit of that going on. And I read it as if that's the problem, because when he said I'm planning to explore PicTime, because he wants to see if the layout and the presentation could feel more cohesive. So perhaps what he means is that layout is changing because it's quite dynamic in the way that it operates, and it's changing on Macs and PCs and mobile devices.
Sorry, I thought he said the color was looking different on different browsers.
No. I think this
read the first part of that question out again to me.
Read the
whole thing out again.
Okay. I recently launched a new person project documenting the beauty of the Latin maths and sacred architecture. Meditative, slower-paced body of work, mostly focused on quiet moments of the liturgy, light and reverence. I've started uploading portfolios one at a time to this new site, but after publishing the first, I've run into some frustrations. The display looks fine on a Mac, but very inconsistent on a PC and mobile device through Wix. I'm now planning to explore PicTime to see if the layout and presentation feel more cohesive. Actually, some of the, if it is, I don't think it is colour, but what the suggestions you made about colour are all very true. And the way you deal with colour as you output it makes a lot of difference.
I misunderstood that question.
But no, it's good to have had that answer. But now hearing it again, what's your thoughts about, because it is a dynamic site, isn't it? Things are moving and changing size.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this page on, I'm just making my browser much narrower, much wider, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, Wix just isn't doing a very good job of making that movement on your behalf. So PicTime will look well. PicTime looks great on mobile and large browsers. Now, I'm not saying that Wix can't do this. It may well be. I never used Wix, so I don't know. It may well be a setting or just the way that you've put the page together. I really don't know. Squarespace also is excellent at dealing with this. In fact, Squarespace gives you 2 views of every page. It shows you what it will look like on a mobile phone, and you can actually change it in Squarespace. So it's, if you've got a button that is to the left on the big screen, but you want it in the middle on the mobile, you can do that kind of thing.
Can you only do that, Kev, if you're using the fluid
yes
output? You can't change if you're using the old, well, I say old 7.1. It's not that old anyway. But unless you're using fluid, it will not change. You cannot change the two separately.
Correct. But that aside, PicTime you wouldn't have the issue with, because it will just control this all for you. But of course, with all of these situations, for example, the 2 big pictures on the homepage that are next to each other, you've got a close-up of a statue of the Virgin Mary, and then you've got a close-up of a priest and altar server on the altar.
Yeah.
They are next to each other. Now, on a mobile phone, you just shouldn't have those next to each other, because there wouldn't be enough space. They should naturally flow beneath each other.
He has another part of his question, Kev. I think this is going to be a doozer to answer. Alongside all this, I'm seriously considering a switch from Canon to Fuji. I'm not sure where to begin or what I should look for in the Fuji brand. I really appreciate your suggestions on what gear might suit this kind of work, which is low light, lots of indoor church settings, discreet shooting, and so on. Thank you both for the inspiration and any guidance you might be able to share. Warm regards from Lance Carter. Immediately, and since you talk about lots of indoor church settings, discreet shooting, I don't know what Canon camera you've been using, but if it's a DSLR, of course, you're going to instantly appreciate the fact that you can have utterly silent shooting because you're going to be going to a mirrorless system. That's the first thing. And then maybe sizer gear as well, something like an X100, Kev.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty low light stuff, and he's looking at the pictures he's in. He's towards the back of the church, various things like that. So X100. I mean, I always say that basically the latest model will give you the best results. Of course, it will. So I would be, for these types of images, probably looking at an XT5 with. When I shoot this kind of stuff as well. I shoot masses and various things, but I nearly always use the XT5 with the 56mm lens.
Yeah.
So a faster aperture lens, 56 1.2 is fine. Or you might want the zoom lens, 2.8 zoom lens. Don't go for the variable zoom, go for the fixed zoom aperture. But XT5 will give you, you'll easily be able to deal with what I'm seeing here without any problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
XT4 probably also.
XH2, XH2S.
Yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't worry about the XHs.
Well, no, only just because you don't like the design of a camera, Kev, doesn't mean you should just disregard it.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's not always the world according to Mullins on that. So there are other things available, Kev.
Awful things.
No, they're not awful. I just noticed, by the way, on his website, it says at the top, this site was designed with the Wix.com website builder. Create your website today. Start now. I don't, because neither you or I use Wix, so I don't know how it works, and maybe you get the whole thing cheaper if you allow for an advert up the top. I'm not a big fan of that. It's not using a lot of real estate. I appreciate that, but I don't know what you think, Kev.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Squarespace does the same thing. Squarespace switches that on if you have to switch it off manually.
Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine you can either switch it on, or it might well be that this is a free version of Wix, in which case you can't switch it off. Yeah, but no, absolutely, switch it off if you can. Yeah, 100%.
Thank you, Lance. Fabulous work. Right, Kev, yours.
Okay, right. So this is quite a long question from Andrew Higgins. He says a couple of questions. Firstly, which do you think are the classic Fujinon lenses, using the proper name for them? 18mm, 35mm, 56mm, maybe, he says. Others, maybe. Let's answer that one first.
56.
Which do you think are the classic Fujinon lenses?
56 and 20. I don't think of the new 18 as a classic. You think of the old one as a classic.
Well, so the three launch Fujinon
23, 56 for me.
Were 18, 35 and 60.
Oh, was it 35? Wasn't 23?
No, 18, 35 and 60 were the first three lenses that were launched.
All right.
I'm 99% sure of that, but
they would be the classics then, wouldn't they? Would be the classics then, Kev.
They would technically be the classics, yeah. But of course, what you have to remember about Fujinon is a brand name for lenses that came way before the X series. You know, that's what they used to call their old lenses as well, film lenses. Or not, I shouldn't call them film lenses. I suppose analog lenses. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking in terms of the modern world, 1835, the original 18, as you quite rightly pointed out, the original 35. And the original one and only 60mm f2.4 macro lens were the original three. And they are great. They're all great lenses. Right. Secondly, do Fujifilm sell the cloth lens bags that come with some lenses?
Oh.
I got one with one of my lenses and it's great. I'd quite like to buy more to keep my lenses in good nick. He says that's not a jibe at Kevin. Background to my question is that after years of listening to your podcast, the not so subliminal effect of talking Fujifilm gear means that over the past year, I've bought myself a decent Fujifilm kit: XT3, XH1, 10 to 24mm, 14mm, 18mm, 35mm, 56mm, 18 to 55, 55 to 200, plus TT Artisans 23mm 1.4 and 27mm 2.8. That is a lot of gear. Well done. All bought secondhand from your friends MPB and also my longtime favourite London Camera Exchange and Wex as well.
Right.
All these sellers have bargains to be found. I looked for items listed as well used, usually the lowest price, looking carefully at the photos for those I thought were actually in much better condition. Although a lot of Fujifilm products seem to appreciate in value, some crazily so, you can find some very good, well-priced gear.
Yeah.
So coming back to his original question, I wanted to build an outfit of cameras and lenses that would give me that classic Fujifilm look and feel, not the latest, fastest and sharpest. Thanks for putting your time and effort into the podcast. As always, much enjoyed. And now I'm in the Fujifilm tribe, I sort of understand it a bit more too. Right. So do they sell cloths? No.
Well, in fact, you don't. Well, if you can't buy them, I think I've got something that you can use. This is a top tip from my friend Giles, who buys chamois leather, and he actually makes them into pouches, and he uses those, and they're brilliant.
I am just checking on because the Fujifilm store in the UK, they do sell lots of different things. So I'm now just checking.
Right.
They sell things like lens caps and lens hoods.
Yeah, as you would expect.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't see off the top of my head things like.
In which case, then, do chamois leather. Just buy chamois leather. It's not that expensive. Then you can make it to whatever size you like, and that will really look after your gear. Stop all the little dings and bings and stuff.
Or you can just enjoy your gear, chuck it in a bag, and don't worry about it.
No, just look.
Yes.
All right. We're just going to have to.
It's never done me any harm.
No, I know.
Broken.
Yeah.
I've lost a few things. I think some of them are in your drawers, but and nothing's ever been damaged.
Hang on. Is Kev's, what was the one you always accused me of having? Is Kev's 35?
35.
Is it 30? Do you know what let's end
Definitely got my 60. I'm sure of that.
I think I've got that.
Fine.
Yeah. Let me just ask. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Hang on, and we'll finish this once and for all, depending upon what ChatGPT says. Has Neale got Kevin's 35mm lens in his drawer? Okay. Right. This is what ChatGPT says. I'll read it exactly. Okay. Now, that sounds like the start of a proper story, Neale. If we're talking Kevin's 35mm lens, and it's the one you mentioned before, how did they know we've mentioned it before, Kev? Possibly an older Fujinon 35mm f1.4. Is that the one, Kev, you think I've got?
Called it Fujinon as well. There we go.
Well, no, I'm not sure. I want to read the next sentence.
Then you've got it. It knows you've got it.
Then yes, it's probably still nestled somewhere in your drawer, quietly humming with memories and maybe a bit of dust. There we go. That's
quietly humming with memories
and maybe a bit of dust. And it's just one more sentence. It's one of those lenses that feels alive when you use it, right? A bit soft, wide open, but with the magic of the newer f2 version polished away. If it's Kevin's, it's probably seen a few stories. Weddings, street scenes, maybe even that time the light hit just right on a winter walk. Kev doesn't go for walks. This is why I don't believe it now.
I can't go for walks, not with my feet.
What's the matter with your feet?
Gout.
Oh, no, not again.
It's all right. I've been to the doctors. They're sorting it out.
Yes, this was the other day. Kev said to me, this is only the second time in my life I've been to a doctor's. I can't believe that, but is it? In your adult life, perhaps?
Yeah, since I was, the last time I went was when Gemma gifted me a Wellman check earlier in the year, which was very lovely of her.
What? She gifted you?
I told you that. She just randomly said, right, well, come on, we're going, and took me to a private hospital in Gloucester. Where
I did not know that it was a present from Gemma.
ECG'd me and everything. I went, yeah, you're fine. Well, but yeah, prior to that, I hadn't been to the doctor since I was 14 or 15.
Did you have everything checked at that Wellman thing?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely everything.
Yeah. Well, they did everything they said they needed to do. ECGs, and they did the roulette thing and gave me a percentage chance of dying in the next 10 years or something.
God, Kev. Well,
ChatGPT says to me, hi, Kevin. Neale James does indeed have a 35mm lens in his kit bag, according to a feature on ShotKit. So, if you lent him your 35mm, it's possible he's still got it.
Oh, my word. Has it got...
Let me know if you need help going around his house and shifting through his drawers.
Well, it's true that on ShotKit, isn't that weird? I was talking about that on the Photowalk show the other week. On ShotKit, it does indeed have that lens laid out on the floor.
Have you ever bought a 35mm f1.4 original?
Yeah. Yeah, sure I did, Kev.
I'm going to look at that ShotKit and see if it's got my scratches and smells on that
Well,
lens.
you can have a look at it, but after that was taken, I sold all of that to get Canon gear.
Wonderful.
And then I came back to Fuji. Probably bought it all back again. Oh, dear. That's a very old ShotKit shot thing, that is. That, yeah, very, very old. In fact, that's XT2s on there.
I did ShotKit as well. I can't remember what mine was. I remember making a smiley face out of all my camera gear, and I used the batteries as teeth.
Well, I'm going to look that up while you read the next question. Or is it my turn for a question or yours?
It's your turn next,
Mark Adams. Hi, both. Thanks for the podcast as ever. I have a bit of a guilty secret. I've bought an Olympus OM1 Mark II and a 300mm FF equivalent 600. Oh, it's for wildlife. It has a PASM dial, one of your favourites, Kev.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it would suit Kev, but Neale should be okay with it. I would be. My question, I see Fuji have brought out a 500mm prime lens for wildlife. Have either of you ever tried it, particularly with the XH2S? Don't start, Kev. He'll start shaking in a minute. Would love to hear what you think. Regards, Mark Adams. No is my answer. I've never used that lens, although I do have an XH2S.
No, I haven't either. I'm just rapidly typing it in. £2,899. F5.6, linear motor, which is nice, weather sealed, OIS. That looks like some serious kit.
Yeah.
I've never used it, but it looks actually. Oh, hang on. Did I? No, I loaned the 200mm when I went and
I didn't have it, by the way. Don't start accusing me.
You probably wouldn't be able to fit this in your drawer, I have to say.
No.
I did sell one though, believe it or not. When just before Christmas, I went and helped Fujifilm out at Camera Store in Cheltenham. I can't remember which one it was now. Yeah. And I stood on the stand, and some chap walked in, and he said, "I'm looking for this lens," and they had it in the display. So we went out, and he shot a few things with it, and went back, and then he bought it. So I feel very much like I was part of that process. He was very impressed with it, but I can't say I've used it.
That bong bing you heard just a moment ago was Kev sending me his shot kit. I've just seen it. Oh look, it's got
the teeth.
Yes,
very proud of that.
The teeth, the batteries are the teeth. Has it got a little goatee? Is that supposed to that clip at the bottom?
That's my clip, my belt clip.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be a goatee, isn't it?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, or the chin or something.
Chin. And then I've got two eyes. That's it. You were definitely showing that you are a minimalist when it comes to using kit.
I should have done the teeth better, though. Should have put the black batteries intermingled with the white batteries.
Yeah, then you could have had a few like pirate type teeth, couldn't you?
Yeah. Did not think that through. Use my camera straps as hair. I like that.
Yeah, very, very creative. Very creative indeed. Right, your turn.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this might be the last, Kev. I'm not sure.
Right.
Might be the last.
Mike Wotton says, question for you both. With multiple cameras amassed over the years, how do you store them? In particular, keeping them with charged battery. Do you remove main battery and rely on internal battery to keep all your settings, or do you keep a charged battery in each body?
Okay, charged battery in each body, definitely. And I tend to only charge them 24 hours before a job. That wouldn't work if you were a photojournalist, because you'd always have to have batteries that are good to go all the time. But I don't notice if they go down to 20%, Kev. I've never noticed that even if I left it for a month, that it would go down radically more. Just be ready to charge. But I always keep a fully charged, a new fully charged battery in the camera.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong to this. I have to say, probably that's a wise thing to do. I don't. The only camera I have a battery in at all times is the X100 VI, mostly because I carry that around everywhere.
Why don't you have it in the other ones? Surely you're going to run down.
Because I have my batteries are all in one drawer, which I'm looking at now over my left shoulder, and all my cameras are locked away safely in my locked up thing, which is in a different room, and so I just do it that way. And the fact is, I just don't, I don't I've got so many cameras that I just don't use them, and I wouldn't have enough batteries to keep one in all of them.
That's a good point.
And the fact is, when ultimately the battery will, if you don't use it for long enough, the battery will drain. And that's why some of the listeners will know that sometimes when they turn the camera on after a long period of time, the settings have reset, and that's because the internal CMOS battery hasn't been, either the battery that you've got in the camera or you haven't got one, and then the CMOS battery drains away. So, it's perfectly normal. It happens with all cameras, but it can be a little bit annoying.
How long do they last? How long do those little CMOS ones?
It's a good few months, easily.
No, it's not CMOS. What are they called?
Yeah, they are called CMOS.
Are they? Okay.
They're like little watch batteries. You can't see them. You can't touch. You can't change them. No. I mean, engineers can change them, but you can't get to them.
So how long would one last, do you think?
Months.
Months and months. Yeah. A year?
Months and months. I don't know. Possibly. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I use my GFX so infrequently, for example, but when I switch that on, and sometimes that's been in there for 3, 4, 5 months, no problems. Usually just kind of kicks off, no problems, and I don't keep the battery in it. I don't. There probably is some right answer to this, but I don't know the right answer to it. But the fact is, Neale puts a battery in all of his, and I don't.
Two different ways of working. Yeah.
Neither of us have got problems, apart from my foot. So yeah.
Oh look, the dog's shaking, which usually means that's it. I've had enough of listening to you two. So pick time. Go through those details again, because it is a great offer, and I suppose the moment I hit that FujiCast music in a second, that sort of starts that 72 hours going, Kev.
Yeah, exactly. So 72 hours. Although, like I said, I think if you're listening to this on, actually, what's 72 hours from a Monday?
That's 3 days.
All right. So I reckon even if you're listening to this on Thursday or Friday, you may have missed the live Zoom recording, but I think the code might still work for a few extra days. So FujiCast is the code you will get. So if you've been on the fence about signing up for Pick Time over all the years that we've been talking about it, then now's the chance. This will work also on the lower tier, the personal plans, as well as the more expensive plans. So you will get 3 months, three whole months free with the code FujiCast. And they will also kindly move 200 galleries if you have them on another provider for free. Yeah. And that is a great saving, because I paid $1 a gallery for all of mine when I moved mine. And like I said, on Wednesday, the 14th of May, 2025 at 6 p.m. UK time, we will have a live Zoom session with Arga from PickTime. Neale and I will be there also. She will show you how to set things up, answer any questions you have about the product whatsoever. And she will take you through absolutely everything. So FujiCast is the code, 3 months free, 200 galleries, move in. The Zoom session is on Wednesday, the 14th of May, 6 p.m. Go to the FujiCast website, fujicast.co.uk/PickTime. There is also a link in the menu there. I'll make it very obvious on the website. There will also be a link in the show notes, and hopefully see you there. Fantastic. And I think it's a great offer.
And another reason why that 72 hours should work a bit of extended time on that 72 hours, because if you live in Tonga, Samoa, New Zealand, the Marshall Islands, Australia's should be in there as well. Should be. Wallace and Fortuna were.
There's nowhere that's 3 days difference.
No, I'm talking about the 72. No, I'm talking about 12 hours on. You said there may be a few more hours on top of that. And I was looking at the countries where that may be so. And the one that we should really take note of, they misspelt obviously when they invented this place. Fiji. I know it should be Fuji, but it's Fiji. Fiji is 12 hours ahead as well. Anyway, well, that's it for another couple of weeks, Kev. Thank you very much. I'm off to see if that battery thing. I'm going to take all the batteries out, Kev, and see how long it lasts over the next couple of months. That's how much. That's how
35mm while you're doing it.
I'll have a look. ChatGPT's got me in a lot of trouble there. Anyway, that's it. See you soon, Kev. Bye.
Bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production. Email the show with your questions and words of wisdom to click@fujicast.co.uk. Email any complaints and political nonsense to our wives, who will deal with your comments in their own good time and in their own good way.